Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on a brand new episode of NewsX India A-List. In our endeavor to bring forth the stories of some of India's finest and brightest, today we've put together yet another unmissable lineup of India's who's who. Our first guest for the day is prolific, internationally acclaimed actor Kabir Bedi. He's recently released his autobiography, Stories I Must Tell, The Emotional Life of an Actor. He's also the honorary brand ambassador for Sightsavers India. Take a look at this conversation.
An internationally acclaimed actor.
Celebrities should do their role in spreading the awareness of causes that they believe in.
He has also lent support to Sightsaver India's vaccine campaign.
This campaign aims to address that, to say, reach out and help those with disabilities around you.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Kabir Bedi for excellence in acting and community service.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-List series. We're in conversation today with an actor who needs no introduction. He's an internationally acclaimed actor who's, of course, just recently turned author as well. But more importantly, he's also the honorary brand ambassador for Sightsavers India. Kabir Bedi, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Uday. Delighted to be here and delighted to be talking about Sightsavers too.
Yes, let me begin with their latest campaign, which is, of course, on vaccine equity. Now, it's, of course, not just important in India, but it's important world over to ensure vaccination for as many people as possible against COVID-19. What made you, come on board this campaign, sir, for vaccine equity in India?
Well, I've been the honorary brand ambassador for Sightsavers for a number of years, and they've got some great programs for eye health, for people with disabilities, etc. Now that we're in this sort of pandemic situation where all of us are dealing with it, and all of us are in it together, and we can only get out of it if, at the end of it, all of us get vaccinated together. So when they came up with this campaign for vaccine equity, which meant make sure the disabled get vaccinated as well, I thought it was a very, very important step to take. Because, there are almost 26 million people, 2.6 crore people with disabilities in India. And if they don't get vaccinated, then we are defeating the purpose of mass vaccination. And a lot of these people have need to be helped. And so this campaign aims to address that, to say, reach out and help those with disabilities around you get vaccinated. That's why I'm fully behind the campaign, and I salute Sightsavers India for launching the campaign. And we've got to get the message out to everybody. Them, yes. Me, you, everybody.
Yes. You've been associated with them for a while, as you've said. What made you come on board their cause? And also, is this something, Mr. Bedi, you've tried to do through your career? To be part of campaigns which are socially relevant, because we do know how celebrities and particularly members of the film industry like yourself manage to have a much greater impact sometimes than just politicians or NGOs because of the sheer reach of cinema in our country and the world.
People are fascinated with celebrities, and I think celebrities should do their role in spreading the awareness of causes that they believe in. Everyone has causes dear to their heart. In my case, I'm basically involved with two major charities because not just charities, the movements almost. Because I don't just give my name to a charity and say, okay, put me as your brand ambassador. I take my role very seriously. I'm very hands-on, I get involved. One charity I'm involved with is Care and Share Italia that raises money in India for slum children in India. They raise money in Italy, educate slum children in India from kindergarten to university. So that's one. Sightsavers was very important to me because I saw the incredible work they were doing.
Yes.
And I've involved myself in that. I've been to their camps in Madhya Pradesh, in India. We brought blind children from various parts of India to Mumbai to show them the sea, to make them experience what a life in a big city is like. I mean, these people who are disabled are wonderful, talented individuals that have the same wants and aspirations as all of us.
Yes.
And to include them in society is very important.
Yes.
And their Sightsavers has a school inclusion program, so blind kids with a few facilities can join regular classrooms. They have social inclusion programs. They've tried to make life easier for people with disabilities and the visually impaired, etc.
Okay.
The blind, they've restored almost 5 million people's eyesight for free. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah, no, it is indeed. And just speaking, of course, now about the last year and a half, it's been, of course, unprecedented. Vaccination hopefully will make it a far more, safer world for all of us. So it's great that you've, lent your support for this campaign, and it's important to do it in an equitable way. We're just speaking about the last year and a half for you, sir. Now, you're, of course, used to traveling around so much for your film shoots and other commitments. How has the last year and a half been like for you? What have been your lockdown lessons through it all?
Everyone's lives have been totally disrupted by this pandemic. People have lost loved ones, people have lost jobs, people have lost office spaces, they've lost their way of life has been lost almost. Nobody's used to going around everywhere in masks and distancing, etc. So it's a great social disruptor. And I think all of us have had to cope with this because it's a sense of mourning for a life that once was, a time that once was. January 2020 seems like the good old days, So how do we cope with this? The thing is, we all have to adapt. I adapted personally by saying, okay, what are the things I've always wanted to do that I've never been able to focus on in the way that I wanted? And I figured that I should write my book in this time.
Yes.
I had the time to think about it. I had the time to write it. And that was my way of coping with it. The routine of writing every day for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day was my way of coping with it.
Yes.
Everyone has to find coping mechanisms. And as Darwin said, the species that survive are not necessarily the strongest or even the most intelligent. It is the species that adapts. So we all have to adapt to a whole new thing. And it is even harder for people with disabilities to adapt, because as it is, they're adapting to a normal world without all the facilities that a normal person has. And therefore, they are adapting is even harder for them. That's why this idea of social inclusion, bring people along, make sure people around you are vaccinated, make sure that the disabled don't get left behind. Because in this world where we have to adapt to, everyone has to adapt. Yes. All of us have to do it. We're all in this together. And that's the kind of message that I was happy to spread and then promote.
Yes. Because
it's a changed world. And we all have to step up and do the best we can and be kind and compassionate. There's no better time in the world to be kind and compassionate to others than today.
True. Well, as I was introducing you today, there's of course now an added a couple of words in your introduction, which is an author, because you have of course turned author. Your labor of love during the lockdown period, as you were just telling us, has come out.
Yes.
I see the cover of the book right behind you over there.
Right.
Yeah, I think
this is the book.
It's behind you as well. On the wall, I can see it. Yes. So tell us, about what the response has really been. Is it, has that made it worth it? Writing the book, taking the time out. What's been the response, and perhaps what do you believe has been the most awarding and rewarding thing for you to actually write this and pen your thoughts and your life in this book?
Well, I must say that the reactions to my book have been extraordinarily good. The one word that keeps coming up all the time is, how honest was it? How could you afford to be so honest? How could you tell things so frankly? It was the only way I knew how, because if I'm telling a story at this point in my life, and I'm telling it with the understanding of how I see things today, and I look back on my younger selves, it's important that I tell it as honestly as I could. This is a story not just of, the usual autobiography, a story of triumphs, and I did this and I did that, and I won this award, and I did this film, and I met so and so. It's about being human. It's being human in a changing world across continents, dealing with changing environments of Bollywood, Hollywood, Europe, the euphoria of triumph, the tragedy of heartbreak, longing, aspirations, setbacks, all these things I put out there, and I've been absolutely blown away by the reviews that I received. I mean, a person like Veer Sanghvi, who I respect greatly, said, it's the best memoir by an Indian celebrity that I have read.
Wow.
And that's high praise, And if I look at, I'd save you a lot of trouble. If you just go onto my Amazon website and see a selection of the reviews, you'll realize that I'm not exaggerating. It's better than what I could ever have expected. I knew I was writing a good book because I've lived an extraordinary life and I have a great story to tell.
No doubt.
But the kind of response I've got has been absolutely, I hate to use the word humbling because it's such a wrong word, but deeply gratifying.
Okay.
People say I'm humbled by this. They're not humbled. They're very proud of having done it. I'm very proud of having done it, but I'm also very gratified that it got this response.
No doubt. And anyone who hasn't read it must go and buy their copy and read the book and read about your life and get inspired, no doubt, by reading it as well.
There's a lot of lessons for everyone in that book. It's not a book of lessons, but the lessons are implied, they're implicit, because it takes you through the dangers of success and failure.
No doubt. Yeah. Final question to you, very quickly before we wrap up. Now that you've written the book and recounted and relived your experiences, what is the advice you would give to your young Kabir Bedi self? If Kabir Bedi of today were to meet Kabir Bedi of say 21 or 25, what is the advice you'd give?
I would say be very careful about the relationships that you get into. You may think they'll last for a short time, but they can last for a long, long time. And they will affect you very deeply. Be very careful with the money that you make, because money can also be a very slippery commodity if you're not careful with it. Be very careful with whom you trust. Trust has to be earned, it shouldn't be given. But I would congratulate that young Kabir on the spirit of adventure that he had, that took him from being a reporter in All India Radio and getting an interview with the Beatles, that took him to Bollywood with 700 rupees in his pocket, that took him to eventually to Hollywood with extraordinary journeys along the way. So I congratulate that Kabir on having a spirit of adventure, of having the courage to leave a safe job in advertising, to take the uncharted territory of the film industry, which turned into many film industries.
Well, congratulations on that, on a life well lived, and also more power to you, sir, for coming on board and supporting the idea of vaccine equity with Sight Savers India. Thank you very much, Kabir Bedi, for joining.
Thank you so much, Chitra. Thank you for your words, and thank you for the attention you've given me and the appreciation.
Our next guest for the day is social entrepreneur Sanjay Rai Sherpuria. Investing in humanity and compassion, he's worked on several social initiatives to help the poor in performing last rites of their kin, investing to set up EV manufacturing facility in UP, and much more.
Investing in humanity and compassion.
This is our responsibility to make our country as a global hub for the job seekers.
He has led several social projects over the years.
We have worked almost 8 years to research all these things, and from there I switch over from my entrepreneurship to the social entrepreneurship.
Newsx India A-List proudly recognizes Sanjay Rai Sherpuria for excellence in social work.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Newsx A-List. I'm joined with Mr. Sanjay Rai Sherpuria. He is the founder of Lakdi Bank. A very warm welcome to Newsx, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, talking about your journey, it's very, very interesting, and I would want people to know this, that you are a social entrepreneur. making a move from a businessman to a change maker and someone who's actually out there changing lives. Can you tell us a bit about your journey?
See, it is a feeling about the nation because India is our country, and this is our responsibility to make our country as a global hub for the job seekers. It will be a global hub for the food sustainability. It will be the globally. I believe that the Bhagavad Gita, the Vasudeva Kutumbakam. And I come from a very humble family where one time my parents were not having so much fund to feed us. So, and they have no so much money to pay for my school fee also.
Yes.
And from there, I started my career from the Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, 1 lakh rupees, early 90s. And from there, I reached to $1 billion business. And from there, I lost my business drastically, come down again to the ground. Then I think what I can do for the nation. And that give me inspiration that I can be a part of the development of this country. And what I have learned throughout my career of business. So almost I have a 62-year working experience. From that, I wish to contribute to my society because India is a country of the young people. And lots of rural people are educated, but they don't know how to do their own business, how to start their own businesses. So I spent almost 6 to 7 year time to understand the rural economy. That was the vision of our Mahatma Gandhi, the father of India. And he believed that the majority people and majority population of the country is live in a rural part of the country. So we known as a agro-based economy, but fact is that how much contributing to the GDP is only 14% when we started our research, and gradually it's grow up to 16% this year. So it's ample scope where we can do support to our farmers, and through the technology we can create farmers technology enable, and then from technology we can shift to the market. So this is dynamic where we start working, and we have worked almost 8 years to research all these things, and from there I switch over from my entrepreneurship to the social entrepreneurship. For the
Tell
youth
us about, that is what I would want to make our viewers also understand. What is and how does Lakdi Bank work and function? And how many volunteers do you have with yourselves?
Yes, this is very touchy question. It is touched my heart because Lakdi Bank, usually I'll tell one line in Hindi that मैं तो वहाँ पे चूल्हे की लकड़ी की चिंता करने गया था, but in due course time जब देखा वहाँ पे कि गंगा में लोगों की शव बह रही है और लोगों के पास इतना पैसा नहीं है कि वो सरकार की योजना होने के बावजूद भी जानकारी अभाव की वजह से लोग वहाँ पे लाशों को गंगा में बहा देते थे।
Yes.
तो मुझे लगा कि चूल्हे की लकड़ी के साथ साथ हमें चिता की लकड़ी की भी चिंता करनी चाहिए। And that give me through this media and electronic media so many dead bodies floating in the Ganges river.
Yes.
So we believe that Ganga is our mother, and in India Ganga has a sentimental value. So I think what is my responsibility, and quick the day I see in the newspaper and media, very next day I visited all the Ganga Ghat basin from Varanasi and to Bihar end. And that 10 ghats, almost every day coming number of dead bodies looking to the corona. And people were emotionally totally drained out, from mentally drained out, financially drained out. So we think that being a businessman, my experience is that the bank is the product where anybody can deposit money and anybody can borrow. So that's why I put this name as Lakdi Bank. So a lot of donor has donated us. And from there, we give to the respected people who want to use the right rituals as a Hindu. So after that, so many the Muslim people come, say, why are you working only for the Hindus? So I'm here to help the people. Also, we work on the kafan point of view also, which is emotional things. And I believe that it is the duty of every people who live in India. So
this is certainly must have not been an easy journey. What has been the real hurdles that you faced?
So many things. Basically a positive thinker. I always talk positive. I believe positive and speak positive things. So of course, when we go to change because it is a sentimental values. Who people live in the bank of Ganges, their rituals, they throw their body in the Ganges. They are not going to burn. That was a big challenge for us. So from our foundation, I request to the government of Uttar Pradesh, and immediately we get very quick response from the local administration, the DM, the SP, and they support us. Immediately they provide us the security people that no, you can't throw your respected body to the Ganges. There is Lakdi Bank available, and you use your rights and respectfully honor to the right rituals of the poor people.
Yes.
So that was a small challenge for us. That was not big challenge, but of course that took huge time, huge energy.
Absolutely, and there is an intent. When there is an intent, there is always a way for it. So why don't you tell us about the enterprise of Center of Excellence in your organization?
Basically, in the rural part, the quality of education is not up to the mark of the urban area life.
Yes.
So if anybody come from Delhi, from any part of the village, they usually go to shift. They visualize that their next life is in the metro city like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, Madras. And the people, they left their home and come to the city. They start struggling almost 10 years, 20 years, they face struggle in the urban area. And in fact, for a rural people, bit difficult to exist in the urban part also, because the lack of lifestyle differentiate between the urban and rural, the quality of education and the job work, what they earlier did during their study time or their parents' part of things. And urban suddenly it's changed drastically. And one big thing is that what would like to share from your platform there. The people for partly Uttar Pradesh, partly Bihar, even Madhya Pradesh, Bengal, after they study, they want that they should get a government job. This is a big challenge for any government, for any state government or central government. But it is not possible to provide government job to each and every students or any employment people. So they should think the Honorable Prime Minister has called to the nation that we should create a Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Yes.
We think that we should create job in the locally. Through that, we can create the revenue, and from there, we can change our life, that the prosperity side. So my vision is this: a lot of local jobs are available through the technology part. So I'll show one small things that we have. What we did before we start the things, we did survey.
Yes.
Create a dashboard. You can see this.
Yes.
This is a dashboard of a district. So
Yes.
I am going to penetrate the GDP of a district and going to change. This will be something unique word that the GDP means the nation GDP. And I am talking a district GDP where the raw material will be consumed locally, the production will be locally, the buyer will be locally, the supplier will be locally. Through that, a lot of employment can generate. For that, we have developed a center for excellence in 30 acres of land. So it is 4 vertical having. One is the agriculture. Means what? Agriculture means not conventional agriculture. It is diversified agriculture. I'll give one example. As of now in Gazipur, tomato per rupees kg is 40 rupees because they are not producing there. When they produce in the month of February, March, the tomato cost is 5 rupees, 10 rupees. So who is producing this tomato as of now? This is technology-based, polyhouse-based, greenhouse tomato.
Yes.
So my vision to connect with the youth who are educated, who want to contribute to their family, they will come here and we will teach them about the diversified agriculture. We'll teach them the cluster-based agriculture. We'll teach them the need-based agriculture. So
and I think that is what the nation demands right now, and that is what I believe the young people also want. They all want jobs. They all want to do work. They want to be Atmanirbhar. That is the vision ahead. I'm totally out of time, but thank you so much for all your contribution to the society, because it's very important, like people like yourself who step up and try to help the society to grow, because that is what is very important. Thank you.
Thank you so nice. Thank you for giving up this opportunity. Thank you.
Our next guest for the day is the Managing Director of Nirmata, Dr. Nataraj Narayan. With around 25 years of experience in several information technology platforms, he's focused on creating value by leveraging people, process, technology, as well as metrics. Take a look.
With a passion for team development,
Building successful startups requires tenacity, grit, and focus.
he has 25 years of experience in multiple IT platforms.
New product moment is an experience, whether experience from the employees, experience sake, or customer experience sake.
Newsx India A-List proudly recognizes Nataraj Narayan for excellence in information technology.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching NewsX A-List. Today, I'm joined with Mr. Nataraj Narayan. He's the Managing Director of Nirmata. A very warm welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, Richa, for the nice introduction.
Sir, talking about Nirmata, it is you've been working for years, and this is now your next career stop. The reason for choosing Nirmata?
See, it's a very interesting question, Richa. I looked at the 4 parameters. One is the team, technology, market, and customers. These are all the 4 main pillars. Nirmata has built a best-in-class solution to address these challenges. I specifically look at for the founders that are obsessed and with the delighted customers and solving tough problems. Building successful startups requires tenacity, grit, and focus. I feel that Nirmata team is out innovating everyone in this market by focusing on the long game. Nirmata has built best-in-class solution that is a developer friendly, and that is one of the reasons why I chose Nirmata as my next career move.
And you bring on board 30 years of experience. What is your plan of action for Nirmata?
See, first and foremost, to build a strong engineering team in India. And definitely that is already on cards, and we have been a little progress on that. Second and foremost is to boost the sales strategy. And I always used to tell that partnership and channel-led sales strategies always work for us. We recently had a barometer check when we participated in Accenture Venture Challenge, and where we have been selected as one of the top 100 cloud participants. So that means we already have, I think, a taste of success. And in fact, my friend and all used to say, if you cut Nataraj hand, they will only smell channels and strategy.
I think that's a couple of other things that people would talk about you is about innovation, bringing about understanding of technology, and even execution of projects. You have expertise in doing that, and it seems like professionals nowadays have it, miss on it. What would you consider? How would you explain nowadays professionals if they want to achieve these things? What should be the way forward for them?
See, I think it's a very nice question. And it is for the company as well as the professional, it never changed, right? The one basic bottom line is if you change with the time, then time will never leave your side. I think if you really see the 20 years back top 10 companies, right? I'm sure that half of it would not be in the list today, right? Yes. You know why? Because the life is all about the change, whether it's a technology change or typically the environment change and so on. So we are all talk about today the new Kodak movement. So what is the new Kodak movement? New Kodak movement is an experience, whether experience from the employees, experience sake, or customer experience sake, or stakeholders experience sake. If a professional or company has able to crack these 3 main pillars, right? I think they are going to exist in the market.
Explain to me, sir. You've been a professional for so many years. You've spearheaded so many jobs, works. What, according to you, makes for a good worker? And what is in it that should be existing in a professional for an ability to excel? You made a very valid point right now that people need to change with times, and so do companies and professionals have to. What are the added qualities that one needs?
I think it is always basically from the past, right? The dedication and keenness to innovate and excel, and also the knowledge and expertise, right? Follow this automatically. I'm sure that I still remember the 3 Idiots when Amir Khan used to say, right, that I think run for an excellence, the rest will follow. I think that's always been the case.
Do you think that has been the reason for you for being successfully spearheading multiple organizations? Do you consider that those abilities in yourself are the ones that professionals need nowadays for a progression in a professional life?
Yeah, progression will initially measured by one's knowledge and learnings. So based upon the skills and expertise, roles and opportunities will automatically come, right? But one has to really see the readiness to take some risk and aggression. This only can give you the steep progression, because I think more the risk that you take, I think the more you tend to benefit. But as a check, right, you also have to be cognizant that you should be ambitious, but can be ambitious but not greedy, right? I think you need to have a balance in both.
I think that balance comes from maturity and age, sir. Nowadays, generation wants it quick and fast and quickly. That's why we know everything they want it on a blink of a second. But keeping in mind your expertise and understanding and knowledge, what is your vision ahead for Nirmata?
See, I think I used to work in Hexavan, and Atul, who's the chairman, used to always say, I think vision is connected with the mission, right? Vision without a mission is a daydream, but mission without a action is a nightmare, right? So while basically our vision is to be in 3 to 5 years is to be $1 billion evaluation, probably unicorn from the Nirmata. But however, that cannot be done. Our mission is already been started. When I'm saying said, right, during the past 12 months, I have seen accelerated adoption of the Kubernetes in production environment, right? In order to benefit every Kubernetes, customer and Nirmata has decided to open source this our policy engine. We name it Kyverno. It has been seen that there is a 6 million downloads in 1 month. So that means already, I think the developers or probably the organization which tend to use the open source, they tend to use the Kyverno. So that's a wide adoption. So all we are talking about how to monetize this particular the momentum, and then take basically Nirmata to 3 to 5 years, definitely a unicorn.
That would be excellent. I would just want one thing to know from you, that has COVID actually helped the organization, or has it worked? How has it been for you as an organization?
I think COVID definitely has basically helped a new age organization, right? Whether it is automation or open source, because this work from home culture, right? Earlier, it is always used to be seen as a very, very skeptical, right?
Absolutely.
None of the organization believed in so, not the customer, right? And specifically have been where the ODC has been created, and none of the basically organization which is predominantly work on the products, right? They never given access to the employees beyond the work facility, right?
Okay.
So now with the COVID, right? I think you can tap the talent across anywhere in the geography, and you really don't need to bound them through the office. But at the same time, the productivity, right? I think the place like a Bangalore or Pune, even any crowded city, the number of hours basically you travel to reach to the office, same thing can be converted into the product. I think the really the useful timings, right? In fact, you can be very, very productive for the 2 hours of the travel time, right? And can make use of work in Excel in your work environment.
Do you consider that the working culture in the country has improved over the years?
Certainly, yes, because see, the way when I think we used to work, right? That time it will be a multi-skilled culture, right? I think now from the multi-skilled culture, it has come to the focused on one as a specialized culture. And this is what basically West has always been following up, right? Then when you're talking about in today's world, the full stack is nothing but, I think, how do you focus completely on one particular specialized skills, right? And
Yes.
at the same time, I think you can really look at it, the environment in and around. Definitely, people are responding to demands and challenges today.
You know, it is for a professional themselves to be successful. You need a lot of support around yourself. Who do you think has been behind your success?
So I think there is always a say, right? Behind every successful man, there is always a woman, right? So in my case, there are 3 women, right? And my mother, because whenever I was growing, she's undoubtedly a leader, right? I think she's taught me basically how to typically help and manage the situation, however the situation is, because as a childhood, we never had plenty of everything, right? But at the same time, we have everything to, I think, that we can manage ourselves. The same thing, and then when we grew up, definitely my wife, Jayashree, I think she has been very, very supportive, whatever basically the action that I have taken many risks in my life. I've been into the many places, but however, I think I have definitely got a full support from her. And the third one, which nowadays challenges me, is my daughter Kritika. You know what? I think she's been plugged onto the various technologies. And I think to cope up with that, right, I think I always try to learn new and new to match up with the next gen, basically the people.
So if I can rightfully put it, that the people who have been behind your success are also the people who motivate you, for you to motivate other people ahead to succeed in their life.
Absolutely. I think.
Before I let you go, I really want to ask you, because you've been a professional for so many years. You've been part of a lot of organizations. You are looking ahead as Nirmata being a unicorn itself. Do you see India progressing to be $1 trillion economy?
Absolutely, yes. I think if I'm not wrong, we were around 2.89 trillion before the pandemic. But however, I think certainly it has some in between slowdown that has always been a part, right? But however, I think I particularly feel we will be basically around 5 trillion in the next 4 years. I'm sure that India would grow to that. And not only that, I think we have a potential of being 10 to 15 trillion in next 2 decades, right? If you play it right. Indian companies are pretty ambitious, and Indian market is also opening up. Right? The India will emerge as one of the largest global markets, both in terms of the consumption and market. And this will drive the behavior of basically how you will achieve your objectives. And with the Modi, I think the wave, right? The way the digitization and so on, you can never imagine I think remote place in village can use Paytm and so on. I think that has become a reality, right? Definitely, I think we are moving faster than what we thought.
And we are hoping that you are moving in the right direction. And for companies like yourselves and Nirmata, which are helping the new age generation also progress along. Thank you so much for speaking to NewsX, and congratulations on your new adventure.
Richa, pleasure to be here, and thanks for giving me an opportunity to talk to you. Thanks.
And our final guests for the day are comedians Amit Tandon and Gursimran Khamba, one of India's foremost stand-up comedians. They've created a satirical comedy show now called Chalo Koi Baat Nahi, which is streaming on Sony Live. Take a look.
Best known for the stand-up comedies,
vision was to create a show which the entire family can watch together and the entire family can relate to it.
they have recently created a satirical comedy show.
Everybody can watch together, kind of like an old school throwback show. We felt like there was this huge sort of gap that existed.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Amit Tandon and Gursimran Khamba for excellence in comedy.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-List series. We're in conversation today with two very well-known comedians, Amit Tandon and Gursimran Khamba. Welcome both of you to NewsX. Firstly, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Uday. Thank you so much.
Hi, Uday. I want to take the time to compliment you that you have dressed up in a nice suit jacket to be able to talk to us. There is a lamp which looks like a hookah behind you. It is setting the scene really nicely. I really appreciate it.
I don't know what scene you have come for that it's setting for you, but I'm going to make it as formal an interview as I can because I've got my suit on. No, but how can it be formal with you guys in the house? Your new show, and I just want to tell our viewers, Chalo Koi Baat Nahi is streaming on Sony Live. So firstly, congratulations on that. Let me begin with you, Amit. What led to this show happening for you? Tell us a bit about it, and and how did you guys seal the deal?
I think we first met in 2019, and we were working on different stuff, but had ideas that we wanted to do. So, and both of us had some common things. We were big fans of Jaspal Bhatti sir, and the kind of satire that used to exist in 90s. So we had like Office, Flop Show, and things like that. So we wanted to do something in that domain, and honestly, we worked on 2 or 3 different ideas. कि ये करेंगे वो करेंगे, but then this comedy plus sketch show is something that Sony also liked, and they said that okay, let's go ahead and do this. So that's how we started working on it. The vision was to create a show which the entire family can watch together and the entire family can relate to it, and is not limited to a tier 1 city or a tier 2 city, but across the board. People should, when they watch it, they should be like, "Arey, this happens with us also." So that's the take that we had for this show.
Okay. Gursimran, what's your story about how you came on board Chalo Koi Baat Nahi, and what do you believe really is the the USP of this show? Because now there's a lot of comedy which is coming on OTT in India and on of course TV, which is a great thing for all of you and the comedy scene in general. But what sets this show apart, and how did you come on board?
So actually, I think Amit already touched upon some of the USPs that we think are there for this show. One is, I think we were very careful in terms of designing it. We really wanted to make, one of those like old school nostalgic sort of throwback kind of comedy shows. Like, for example, last night I was watching Full Tension again, okay, and it's just the kind of like you don't get to make those kind of shows now, because I think your entire predisposition is, oh my God, we have OTT now, let's do something crazy, edgy, and let's do that. Where I feel like because everyone's sort of gone in that direction, that space for a really nice, fun, everybody can watch together, kind of like an old school throwback show, we felt like there was this huge sort of gap that existed. Well, the kind of show where, because there are two types of comedy now on OTT, I feel. Either it's that very edgy, trying to be something, oh my God, look at this, we're going to change the world. Or it's this version of, or it's your entire Hungama too, which is just leave your brains at home and, so we felt there's a massive gap in the middle for an audience that wants to watch it with family, which can have fun, which can smile throughout. And so that was essentially the goal. So we feel that's sort of like the USP of the show.
Okay. And how did the name come about, Gursimran?
So for us, it was very, we were looking at, one of those phrases that we use in common parlance, like, and we really felt like it sort of connected with the soul of Indians in terms of how we are in day-to-day life, where every time, say, something shitty happens, our first response is, chalo yaar, koi baat nahi. Right? It's just a word it's just a phrase that is so sort of caught on, and we all sort of use it as it's second nature, right? So that was sort of the goal with naming the show like that it slips off the tongue almost.
Okay. But, Amit, it's been a good busy time for you as well. We last spoke about how you were keeping COVID positive, patients entertained during, of course, the second wave. Then, of course, you also had another show recently. You've been doing, of course, a lot of virtual other shows. Now you've got Chalo Koi Baat Nahi. So you feel comedy is helping people, Amit, in this very tough time?
Absolutely. Especially with the kind of messages we get all the time from people, who've been watching comedy. They will message you on Instagram and stuff that, there's been tough times, but then we sit together and we watch some of your stand-up and we forget about it for, whatever, 40, 45 minutes, So I think comedy has, helped a lot because, when you're watching it, at least for that half an hour, 45 minutes, although the problems don't go away, but the pressure goes away, the tension goes away. Even I myself watch a lot of comedy these days. I've moved a lot away from watching the, shows like Chernobyl and all, which we used to watch earlier. So I don't watch the documentaries which are telling me that the world is going to end.
Okay.
Because वो तो already पता है.
True. You don't need to watch. You don't need to watch a movie that's happening in real life. I mean, we're seeing what's happening in Afghanistan. On the airport and around us today in India.
So tragedy to real life में दिख ही रहा है. So I also try to kind of switch off and do that. So I'm sure it's working for others also.
Okay. Well, this is a question I asked to Amit as well last when we spoke. Gursimran, did you also have during the lockdown and of course the entire 2 waves and 3 waves actually, your friends, your family, your loved ones call you up and tell them कि यार हंसा लो, बहुत दुख हो रहा है, बहुत कठिन जिंदगी चल रही है, make us smile, tell us a joke or something?
So I think not specifically exactly like that, but yeah, like Amit mentioned, right? I think it was really hard for everyone. And I actually feel that was somewhere or the other that, remained in our subconscious even when we were making this show. Because I think like you said already, right? Everybody is going through such a hard time already. The one touchwood positive thing, because I know it's a privilege and not everyone can say that, is that touchwood, like for example, ever since we started working, you don't get to spend as much time with family, right? Everybody sort of moves away from home. And in this lockdown, I think one of the things that did happen, and I was one of the sort of lucky ones who could manage to spend that time with family and sort of be around them. And just that sort of sense of comfort sort of really helped, people like me. And like I said, somewhere subconsciously that thing remained that, you want to do something which brings everybody together. You want to create something that sort of everybody watches and enjoys together. So I'm pretty sure some of that residue sort of.
Okay, well, let's lighten things up now. Tell us something about you guys that we don't know. You work together on this show and of course known each other now for a while. Let's begin with you, Gursimran. Tell us something about Amit that one doesn't really know. We don't know.
So you know how every year Akshay Kumar takes out one press release saying, "I am the highest taxpayer." I think Amit sir is that for us in the comedy scene. Like you mentioned already, he has another show that has just come out and so much live stuff. So I think Amit sir, we should take out some press releases, like highest GST payer or something. We should use some.
Okay, respond Amit and then tell us something about Gursimran that we don't know.
Gursimran, I think it's
you're not responding. That means you agree to you are the highest. Good. Congrats on that.
I can't even say thanks to it.
Yes. Tell us something.
About Khamba, I think one thing people, it's something that came out now for me is that, he's the one who's the most scared when it comes to COVID. I think I have not seen anybody more scared or more careful. I don't know what is the right word. So he would wear double mask with a face shield for 8 hours at a stretch and would not drink a, drop of water just to ensure that, his face, like doctors created protocol and Khamba squared that protocol and followed it. Like, so he's doubly careful than even इतना तो डॉक्टर नहीं फॉलो करते जितना खंबा करता है.
वाह, क्या बात है. Really? Is that correct? Are you careful to the point of being paranoid?
I'm fully. Not to the point of. I am fully paranoid. I am. We have had discussions when we made this show कि यार तू acting कर ले, and I was like, मतलब ही नहीं है मैं mask उतार रहा हूँ. It's okay. But no, I think I think people will be able to relate. It's for us as an industry. Actually, honestly, it's been very tricky. It's been very tricky for every actor and every performer because you're always in that dilemma, right? That you need to go to work. But at the same time, you have parents at home or you have elders at home. So that risk reward has been really hard, not just like for people like me. I know so many people who are doing it despite that, right? So I think it has genuinely been a challenge. Like touchwood on set, anyway, we were very careful because we followed all protocols. And now anyway, the Maharashtra government sort of made it mandatory, before you went on shoots. But yeah, I was still fully paranoid. I was like, let me leave no stone unturned when it came to that.
Well, good. You're sending out a right message, of course, to citizens because that's what we're telling people right now as well. Don't drop your guard. Continue to maintain all the COVID protocols. But thank you both so much for joining us, and thank you also for doing this. For bringing a smile to people's faces at this very tough time. So wishing you all the very best, both of you, Amit and Gursimran, for Chalo Koi Baat Nahi. Viewers, you can watch it on Sony Live. Thank you both for joining.
Thanks, Uday.
Thanks a lot, Uday. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.